helps if I unmute. Well, it's afternoon for me. Okay, so good morning, everyone. Welcome to my session in Paginated Report in 10 minutes, which I overrun in every session I do. So I am really working hard today to make sure this one is 10 minutes. So here's all the details about me. Please come find me on Twitter. I've got a YouTube channel. I've got a blog, both called Hatful of Data, and also reach out to me on LinkedIn. Any of those will work. And I will put up things on Twitter for links to some of the resources today. I'll also put them in the chat. So the first thing we're going to start with is looking at creating ourselves a report. So in order to use paginated reports, you've got to download some software. And the software that you're going to download is Power BI Report Builder. You can nowadays get it from the Microsoft Store. I recommend you get it from there because then it will update. It's free, just like Power BI Desktop, but it is not Power BI Desktop, okay? And it's nowhere near as user-friendly. Let's put it that way. But for any of you that have used SSRS, this will feel the same kind of thing and exactly the same place. So you guys have the advantage. So 10 minutes, let's go. The first thing we've got, so I've cheated slightly. I've started with a template that I've built. And the only thing I've done in the template is put in some fields, put in a picture, and I set the most important part, the page width. But in order to make you feel better, there is, let me just quickly take you across. I have a 5-minute, sorry, it's an 11-minute, apologies, 11-minute presentation of how to create that template. I did it back at Christmas, and that's part of my 12 days of paginated reports. I will put that link in the chat in a minute. So here we are, I've opened up the template and you've got to do a couple of things inside a paginated report. We've got to put in a data source. So I am going to add a data source. I'm not going for a Power BI dataset connection, but that can be done if you've already built a data set. And into here, I'm going to put in, this is the plant sales data and my data. And these are the data sources you can connect to. Okay, so you are limited. And let me just go into, I can see Teams is flashing. If there's a question, can you read it out for me, please?
No, no question yet.
Okay, brilliant. So my data is in Azure SQL, and we're then going to click build. Okay, and we just need to have a database name. And then I put in my user ID and I put in a password. I click the save my password. If this is, I recommend that you go for a test connection because then that makes the drop down here work and list all of your data sources. And we're going to go for plant sales and click OK. So that's giving you your connection string, which you might have. If you already have that connection string, you can just copy and paste it into there. And we're going to then click OK. So that's giving me a data source. But of that, I need to put in a data set. So I'm just going to do a right click and add data set. And I'm going to give this exactly the same name because making up names is not my forte. The data source is plant sales. And you could, if you know the SQL, if you're going to SQL area, you could just type in a query into there. But I'm going to go to the query designer just to be quick. Now, I always recommend that if you have access to the database or you have bribed your DBA, I recommend bribing the DBA. then get them to write views for you, get them to build the stuff for you that you don't have to worry about relationships, etc. So I've got one in here that is filtered in the way that I want it filtered, and it's got the right columns, it's brought in the right stuff, and it's all there. Okay, so that's what I recommend, rather than going, I could have gone through the tables and built it up and put relationships in, but we've only got 10 minutes. So then I click OK. And there you are. For those of you that write SQL, there is the SQL written in there, controversially with commas at the beginning, but let's not go there. And then we click OK. So that's brought in my data. So what we're going to do in this simple report is we're just going to build a little table, and we're going to put a total on it, and we're going to publish it. That's it. So I'm going to go to insert, I'm going to go to table, and I'm going to insert a table and dump it on my report. And then I'm going to drag, so you can then just drag in fields. So I'm going to say that I've got an order number, I've got a date, I've got a company, and I've got a total. Okay. And one of the things about paginated reports is they are pixel perfect. Okay, you can choose where something goes on the page. It won't rearrange it. It's being aimed to be printed. So when you pick something like the table there, you need to be coming down the side here and looking at the properties. And one of the properties is of the location over here on the right. And so I can come into here and I can put in that we're at 0, and I'm going to put the top as to be 1.8 because I happen to know my header there is 1.5. So we'll just have it 3 millimeters off of that. Now, I also know that the company column is not going to be wide enough because my company names are a little longer than that. So I'm just going to go like that. And there you are. You see, it's got some drags and some, and it kind of holds on there. The one you want to make sure you don't do is go wider than the report page, because then you'll end up with blank pages. So we're just going to do a very quick run
Laura?
of that. Yeah.
Yeah, there is a question. Is there a difference between the SSRS and the report builder?
I know report builder is built off of SSRS, but I have to confess, I don't know SSRS. So I can't tell you the answer to that question, but I will find the answer. I will go and ask Mr. Finlan. Chris Finlan will know the answer to that one. Or Patrick from GynaCube is the guys that I'm going to go and ask. Okay. But they are built off it. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
So here we are in the preview. There's a couple of issues I want to look at. One is that date format and one is that number format. So I am going to go back into design. If I click on there, make sure it's got the blue thing on there and do a right click. Placeholder properties. It's a Microsoft product, so hey, there's a number formatting, and that's a date. And I am going to go for, I'm a Brit, so I'm going to go for the European formatting there and click OK. If you've gone for the starred ones, they would pick the regional settings, but on this particular laptop, my regional settings are a bit weird. And then on my total, I'm going to go into there and placeholder properties. We're going to go for currency. Yeah, I'm a Brit, so it's coming up with pound signs, and I'm going to add the comma separator for the thousands. And the other thing, so the other thing I want to do is I want a total for that one there. Okay, so I want a total at the bottom of the table. Really easy way to do it. You pick up the column you want to put in there, and I drag it and I drop it onto there, and it guesses the expression. Okay, it guesses just like Power BI Desktop does. It guesses that you want it to be a the sum. Okay, and I can find that by, I've lost it. I'm not going to find it for a second. I'm going to find it that you can. It's not appearing to me at the moment. I will find it in a moment. But you can find the calculation that it's doing. I'm going to make that bold, and I am also. There you are. There's the expression. Right click on it. Up comes the expression, and there we are. We can see it's doing the sum. But I'm going to go for placeholder properties, and I'm going to give it exactly the same format as the column above it. So there we are. We've got ourselves a report. We're going to do a quick run. And there's my report. So therefore, I'm going to go back into design and I'm going to go publish it. Now, the issue of paginated reports is they have to either go into a premium workspace or a premium per user workspace. So I'm just going to call this Plant May Sales, just so it's a brand new report, and click publish. And then if we go back into our workspace here, given a moment, there are your sales, and there is your report popping up. It has two views. One is the normal view, and the other, so this is the normal view, and there is a page view, which will be page laid out as you wanted it to be. Okay, words of warning, please don't try and put a JPEG, a PNG with transparency. It comes up black. And the other one that I want to give is if when you publish the first time from a data source, it can be a bit weird, and you'd normally go, well, settings is where my credentials are going to be. Nope, they've put them under a thing called manage for some weird reason, and there is data source credentials. You will need to check those if this is the first time you have connected to a data source in that workspace. Okay. Also, paginated reports run whenever you play them. Okay, so when I click on here, it runs the report. There is no refresh. There is no data set. It runs when you press the report. How am I doing? Have I got any time left? I doubt it.
Oh no, yeah, you're doing fine.
Any questions?
Actually, we do have a lot more, not a lot more time, but we have some more time. So
cool. So let me come back into here. And let's just do a couple of things, okay? Unless anybody's got any special requests, I'm going to do a couple of things that you just don't work out. And well, you can work out, but then they're a little odd. So sorting, okay? So if we're going to do sorting in here, the way you do it is you go to view and you go to groupings. This is the way to sort it inside the table. Okay, I come into groupings here and I'm going to sort by company, and I can come into here and I can go to group properties, and in here we've got sorting. Okay, so I can add a sort by, and I can go sort by company, and I can click OK. And that now if I come back into that one and I run it, you'll see now this isn't sorted by date, but this is sorted. Let me zoom in a little bit. Oh, that's a bit quick, wasn't it? But there you are, it's sorted by company. Notice as well, you don't get the report name in preview, but you do when you publish it. Coming back into my report here, you can subscribe to a report, so we can put in subscriptions and they can go, and you can add in other people who've are subscribing up there. You've got to be a little bit careful. You can't go from a premium per user. I don't think you can subscribe to somebody who's not got premium per user. That I'd have to check. But what you can do, and I've used this quite a lot, is you can use Power Automate to grab your reports and send them out to people. So I've used one premium per user account, which does a connection up, runs the paginated report. You can only run one per 5 minutes, okay, to export. There's a limit. But I have a system that waits 5 minutes and then does the next report and waits another 5 minutes and does the next one. And I send out a couple of hundred of paginated reports overnight to a number of people from at one client. And it's the fastest way they can get statements out. It's the best way they've got, because those people want a PDF. We're working on them. We're working on them to not on a PDF, but that's where they are at the moment. Okay, how are we doing?
All right. Well, did we have anybody with questions?
For anybody that does have questions afterwards or wants to go and play, I put together on my blog post, I put together, let me just put that, actually that link's the more useful link to put into the Teams chat. I will in a second. That gives you where to go and get it if you have to download it, if you're not going by store. My YouTube, there is a great paginated reports in a day. It takes more than a day, I warn you now. Chris Finlan, who is the guy who owns paginated reports inside Microsoft. Paul Turley is awesome at this. He has a recipe book that is amazing, and he does some really awesome stuff. And of course, Gynacube have paginated reports, and it's one of Patrick's favorite topics. Okay.
All right, thank you. And yeah, if you could also share that in the Discord channel for this room.
Yeah, of course I can.
Actually, that's going to last longer.
That is the better place to put that. So that's where I will put it. And thank you everybody for coming.
Okay, thank you. And actually, we do have one question. We'll make this available after the demo, so that the recordings will be shared on YouTube after we do the processing. And of course, she'll be sharing the links. Laura will be sharing the links shortly.
Yeah, as soon as I found my Discord window, I will be putting the link to that page into there.
Yeah, you can certainly share it here as well.
The problem of using different desktops to do all the different things, you're then going to go and find them. There we go. And Liz, if you look at my paginated 12 days of paginated reports, it's a little small bit, it's a little small bites. I cover a lot of the stuff that we've done here today, plus a lot more. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
That's my page there. My pleasure.